Hey friend, today we answer the question to or not to. Wait, is that a question? Hi, I'm Kate Glasheen. I'm a voice and dialect coach with a passion for health and wellness. You can learn more about me at kateglasheen.com, and if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe below. Let's get started. What we're really addressing today is matters of rhoticity, which is a word that really just refers to how a speaker uses their R's. When you're learning a dialect, it's important to know how to handle the R's you see in your script in your actual speech. The humble letter R we see in our text can function in two different ways. It can function as a consonant, leaping off into a vowel sound, r, or it can serve to close off a vowel sound, And this doesn't depend on the vowel sound. It can be any vowel sound. Re, ru, ri, ri, or any vowel sound that it gets closed off. Or, ar, ear, air. Instinct will likely do a lot of the work for you. But if you're not sure what type of R you're looking at, the best rule I know to go by is to determine what type of sound follows the R. Is it a consonant sound, a vowel sound, or silence? A consonant R, is always followed by a vowel sound. So like I mentioned before, read, rude, ripe, rip. Now I'm careful to say vowel sound because we have silent letters in English spelling. For example, in the word care, the R sound is followed by an E in the spelling, but we don't pronounce it. So the actual type of sound following the R is silence. The word is over. And when an R is followed by silence or a consonant sound, it's a vowel R. So when an R is followed by a vowel sound, it's a consonant R, And when an R is followed by silence or a consonant sound, it's a vowel R. And by the way, silence just means that the word is over. It doesn't necessarily mean you've completely stopped speaking. So let's recap. As we just saw, the word care is spelled with a silent E, which we don't pronounce. So the sound after the R is silence, which means it's a vowel R. And if we look at the word cared, as in I cared for you, the sound after the R in that word is now D or D, which is a consonant. And again, if an R is followed by a consonant sound or silence, it's a vowel R. It's the sound. Care, cared. Now in the word carry, the sound after the R in carry is E, and that's a vowel sound. So that means the R is actually a It needs to function as a consonant. Carry, carry. And now you might be thinking, well, Kate, why can't we just say carry, carry? Well, you're about to find out. Knowing the difference between vowel R's and consonant R's matters because some speakers use both consonant and vowel R's, and some speakers only primarily use consonant R's. This is a matter of rhoticity. So if you do use your sounds, you speak what's called a rhotic dialect. And if you don't pronounce or drop those sounds, you speak what's called a non-rhotic dialect. All dialects of English can be roughly classified as either rhotic or non-rhotic, but that doesn't mean there aren't plenty of dialects that kind of have a foot in each camp. Just off the top of my head, I can think of dialects from the American South, from New England, and the West Country of Old England that use a little bit of both. They retain some of their vowel R's, but they drop others. It's important to differentiate between the two types of R's for two reasons. First, if you're a rhotic speaker learning a non-rhotic dialect, you can't go into it just thinking, well, they drop their R's. They only drop certain R's. And so let's look at care, cared, and carry again to demonstrate that. If we're learning a standard British dialect and we just think, I'm going to drop all my R's, then we'd end up pronouncing those words care, cared, and K. Right? I got rid of all my R's, right? They don't pronounce the R's, so K, but that's not a word that we recognize. We need that R in carry to function as a consonant. Re, carry, carry. And if we don't know, we can always figure it out by looking at the sound that follows the R, and in this case, it's still an E sound, which is a vowel sound, which means it's gotta be a consonant R. The other reason it's important to distinguish between the two types of R's is that not all speakers treat them the same way. You might be learning a dialect that taps the consonant R. Great, that's right. But it doesn't tap the vowel R. Great, go over there. Getting that detailed really helps the authenticity and believability of your dialect work. This concept can also be helpful in singing, both within a word and between words, because when you sing, you're linking your sounds together a lot of the time, and so an R at the end of a word might be followed by a word that starts with a vowel sound right after it, meaning you could turn that vowel R in somewhere over the rainbow to somewhere over the rainbow, and it makes it a little bit more pleasant to listen to. So instead of somewhere over the rainbow, you're going to want to sing somewhere over the rainbow. So that's between words, but within a word, you don't want to close off a vowel sound. You want to let it breathe. So if you were singing carry for some reason, you wouldn't sing carry, you'd sing carry. Yeah, just sounds a little bit better. Differentiating between vowel R's and consonant R's makes for more authentic and accurate dialect work. It also allows for more open vowels and clarity in both singing and speech on stage. It's a subtle bit of voice work that makes a big difference.